I don't typically do first impression type videos because I don't really feel like they hold a lot of value, but you guys, I just got my dialed Pruf sight in the mail, and this thing has got me so geeked out. I felt like I had to push this video out for you guys today. So this is going to be a first impressions type video on the brand new dialed Pruf. Keep in mind, we will put out our typical in-depth, detailed technical review talking about all the changes on the Pruf. The reality is that Dialed didn't just come out with a version 2 of the sight. They completely revamped this thing to the point where it's a brand new sight, again, that hit the market through Dialed Archery. Now, the first thing that I noticed right out of the gate when I picked this up was the weight reduction. Now, I was so impressed, I immediately started lining it up or weighing it in comparison to some of the other sights. I mean, this thing is significantly lighter than the original Arxos. And then I went as far as even weighing it up against the UV slider in a pick mount. I went as far as weighing it up against the black gold dual track, which is again in a pick mount. I had assumed that this was going to be the lightest sight out of all 4 of these, and it is, but it's literally, the Pruf is heavier by 0.1 ounce. So this is going to be a super light sight to run, which is really nice because it allows you to add a little bit more weight to your stabilizers out front and help steady the bow, at least in my experience. Now, one of the biggest complaints that I had with the original Arxos was the pin indicators. I even went as far as modifying mine, where I shaved them down and I put red nail polish on them so they stood out a little bit more. They added new pin indicators, which is going to make it a lot easier for you to read your sight tape. A big improvement is going to a micro adjust on your windage. It's also micro adjust on your first, second, and third axis, where it was before, but it was definitely a little difficult and took a little bit more time to kind of dial those in, especially your third axis, also your second axis. If you shot a dialed Arxos before, you know you had to find your 20, then you had to level it out, and if you weren't super careful, you could knock off your 20-yard mark. So you had to be, like I said, it did take a little bit extra time to kind of level everything out. Now, those are some of the high-level changes. Now, some of the things that they did stick with is the light kit. If you have an Arxos, you can take it off of that. You can put it onto the new Pruf. It's going to be compatible. That's exactly what I did. They reconfigured the shape of the scope housing, which is super nice, but they maintained the overall size, which is giving you that very clear sight picture that you were accustomed to on the Arxos. They again stuck with the top level bevel, which I'm a huge fan of because I do feel like it opens up that overall sight picture and really allows you to see what you're shooting at. Now, the biggest change that I'm seeing is the fact that you can now purchase this sight, and if you decide to change bow manufacturers, you don't have to go and buy a brand new sight, whereas before, if you bought it in a pick mount, you couldn't switch over to a dovetail, and vice versa. If you bought it in a dovetail, you couldn't switch over to a pick mount. So you can buy one sight, change a bow, and then just buy the additional mounting bracket without having to spend $500-600 on a brand new sight, which is great from a consumer standpoint. We talk about this all the time. It really gives you a lot of flexibility. They're also coming out with a new horizontal pin, which is going to give you the ability to adjust your pin gap. On the vertical one, it's still fixed, so it's going to be based off of your poundage, draw length, arrow weight, and then it's going to dictate what your pin gap is going to be. I'll do another follow-up video because I can tell you right now, based on the way that this sight looks, I am 100% going to sight this thing in and run it through the rest of the season and really put it through the paces. But I'll update you guys on what my pin gap is on my Mach 30. We'll talk about all that, all the specs in that video, so you guys have kind of a general understanding of what you can expect. Now, another thing that is very, very exciting about this sight is, again, dual sight tapes. I'm a big fan of that because you can run a calibration tape on one side, you can run your actual sight tape on the other. If you need to do any in-field verification to see if your sight's off or whatever, it makes it very easy. It also gives you the ability to run your sight tape on either side. So if you like it on your quiver side, you'll be able to do that. If you like it on the inside, you'll be able to do that. Again, giving you a lot of customization and a lot of flexibility to set this up for how you like to shoot. Now, another really sweet feature of this sight, and again, I'm not going to do the whole technical review, but the tuning of the sight. So I know that this was a big complaint by some people. If you had a dialed Arxos and you loosened up these screws on the side of the housing, this thing would get so loose to the point where you could basically push down on it and the whole sight housing would slide. That's gone. That's been addressed. They took care of that with this new locking lever. So now you can set the tension of the sight with that. It's a more robust system. It makes it a more stable platform. And again, just one less thing that you have to worry about in the field. Now, what's nice about this is you can run it completely locked out to where you can't spin it, but you can also run it a little bit back where it's still got a decent amount of tension. You can push on it. You can see that it's not moving, but yet I can still rotate the wheel. If I want to go completely unlocked, at that point, you'll be able to push down on it and move it. But again, there's no tension on the sight at that point. So it's kind of to be expected. So awesome, awesome feature. I love the location of that lock. You know, you can make an adjustment. You can lock it down with your thumb, pull it up with your finger, never have to take your hand off of the sight. So a lot of awesome changes, man. Like I said, I don't typically do first impression type videos, but this thing is so nice. I felt like I had to throw something out for you guys. You got micro adjust first, second, third axis, toolless adjustment on your windage. I mean, this is definitely going to be a site that is worth checking out. So if you guys are interested in learning more about this site, like I said, let me know what videos you guys want me to do on this site, but definitely expect the full technical detailed review going over what the Pruf is bringing to the table here in 2024. That's it for this video. If you guys got any questions, leave me a comment below. Reach out to me directly on Instagram. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Your guys' support greatly helps us out, keeps us doing what we're doing. And as always, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you on the next one.